Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to Man Cloud Garage. Today, quick bite, I'm going to show you how to install and configure vCenter Server 7.0 U3. So, when we plan to install a vCenter server, in general, the benefit of vCenter server is to manage multiple ESXi hosts. If we have one ESX host, we can connect using a vSphere host line. But when you have a more than two ESXi host, to manage multiple ESXi server, there will be a management tool is required for easy management and administration. That tool name is called vCenter Server. And not only management, it will also provide you so many key features with the vCenter Server. So let's quickly log into our Jump host and I will show you how to install and configure vCenter Server U3 on VMware Workstation virtual machine. So in our VMware Workstation, we already configured Active Directory and DNS domain controller already configured, and ESX1, ESX2, ESX3 is configured. Before configuring the vCenter server, one of the prerequisites is we have to create a DNS record. So let's log into domain controller system and open the DNS console and create a record. Let's say our vCenter server, I'm planning to choose the name as VC01 because this is the first vCenter. So VC01 and assign one IP address. So 192 dot, let quick, we already given 71, 72, 73 for ESX. So for vCenter, let me choose as 70, 192.168.10.70. But in our home lab, we can choose any of our convenience IP or available IP. But when it comes to the real-time scenario, we can ask our networking team. They will help you to provide the all the static IP details. So click on add host. So record is created. Click on done. And see here it is created. To change this timestamp, just refresh. It will become as a static record. So VC01 created and reverse lookup zone also refresh and verify. See VC01 is created. Okay, now to download the vCenter server, we have to log into VMware website and download the evaluation version of vCenter server 7.0 U3. So I already downloaded. I copied to our local system software folder. The software name is this is the one VMware VCSA vCenter server appliance and 7.0.3. So before installing this ISO file, we have to mount. Right click the ISO file and click choose mount. When we select mount, it's already mounted in our local system. So right click here, open, and we have a multiple options are available here. We can install VCSA UI installer method or CLI installer method, and another method is VCSA direct appliance. It's a open virtual format file. This file we can import directly to the our workstation. See if you see here, it's a open virtual format file. Okay, this OVF file, open virtual appliances also we can say either OVF or OVA, both are same meaning. And this OVF file, how we can import is just log into the workstation. And here we have a open a virtual machine. You can choose this option and you can look for a this OVF file. It is showing as open virtual format files OVF or OVA. When you select this one, it will automatically detect the all the files, or else when you choose all files, you will find this one. But currently we already mounted that ISO file. Go to the E drive and select VCSA, and now you can choose this OVA file, open virtual appliance file. So vCenter server. So just click on open. Now it will start deploying. So importing the virtual machine end user license agreement, we can accept the license agreement and click on next. So when we click on next, we have to provide the virtual machine name. So virtual machine name is VC01, vCenter01, and default path is our C drive documents virtual machine folder. Let's leave the default path. Now click on next. And the deployment type, we have a multiple sizes like a t-shirt sizes, tiny, small, medium, large, so much sizes. But when I select the tiny size, it is like a embedded PSC, and there are some embedded PSC, and we also have a large storage capacity options also available. But in our home lab, it's fine. The installation procedure, whatever the deployment size, the procedure is same. So I'm just selecting the tiny vCenter server with embedded PSC. Okay, and embedded PSC means here you can see the default CPUs are 2 CPU and 10 GB of memory and 579 GB of disk space. Suppose if I select the small vCenter, 4 CPU, 16 GB memory, 694 storage, those sizes are increasing. But the importance of small vCenter server is it supported up to 100 ESX host, 1000 virtual machine. But in our home lab, we do not have a 100 ESX. So no need to configure a high configured vCenter server. We'll go with a tiny. Even the tiny, it supported up to 10 ESX a host, 100 virtual machines. So it's more than enough for our home lab. So I'm going with a default tiny, but in the real production environment, based on our customer requirement, you can choose the relevant size deployment options. Now click on next. And this part is very important. Importing virtual machine, we have to provide all the network configuration details here. So even if how we can enter all this information, when you click on information icon, you will find, see, network IP address family, IPv4 or IPv6. We are using a IPv4 only. And HP host network mode. See, network mode, we can see choose like a either dynamic or static, and currently we are using a static only. So you can type static. And the host network IP address. So IP address is can be a IPv4. We can type 192.168.10. We already created DNS record for .70. We can choose the same one. And host network prefix. So prefix one, it can be a, we can give, we are giving a subnet mask is 255.255.255. That means 3 eights, 3 octants, 8 plus 8 plus 8. So it will be a 24. And host network default gateway. So our default gateway format can be normal default gateway. So you can enter the IP address 192.168.10.1. And network DNS server. So DNS server, we have our DNS server IP 192.168.10.10. And the network identity, this can be, we have to give a fully qualified domain name. Our vCenter fully qualified domain name is vc01 dot our DNS name demolab.com. Okay, so once we details are okay, then we can go with the following configurations. Just click on import. So currently import appliance is in progress, but in general, vCenter server installation will be in a two-stage process. Let's back to the slide. See how just now we verified how to install, how to import a vCenter server appliance, and now that let's move on to the another slide is vCenter server appliance. It's include PSC. PSC means platform service controller. It take care of all the service, self-service logon and certificate management, and it's in a two-stage process. Stage one, deploy OVF. This is in progress now. Once the deployment is completed in the stage one, and stage two will go with a configuration of NTP, SSH, and SSO. This configuration we can do in the stage two. Let's monitor the stage one first. Once it is completed, we'll go to the stage two. See, importing is in progress. Compared to ESX installation, vCenter installation may take little longer time. And we have selected the vCenter server deployment size is tiny. Hopefully it may go faster compared to large deployment installation. Okay, it's almost going to finish. Yes. And vCenter server is started booting. See, if you notice the screen, it is showing as Photon OS. Photon is it is also open source, but it's developed by VMware. So VMware developed the Photon. It's open source. On top of the Photon, they included the vCenter application. So they make this both as a one package, which is called VCSA, vCenter Server Appliance. The file extension is .ova, Open Virtual Appliance format. So here it is prompting the last logon screen, but we have to wait for a while. It will prompt for a complete login screen. And it will show you the browser login stage. And we have to log into a VAMI interface, which is vCenter server IP address :5480 port. That is a default VAMI interface. VAMI means vCenter Appliance Management Interface. Once the vCenter is installed, we can stage 1 is completed. We'll go to the stage 2. Yeah, still it is loading. Yeah, this is the screen. So even when you are practicing at your home, wait for until the screen comes. Maybe it's going to restart one more time. Okay, let's wait for some more time. All the service starting is in progress. Just open the command prompt. And also another key point is we have to change the network to the our regular network, like a network adapter should be VMnet 0 auto bridge. Okay, now it is loaded. On the screen instruction, it is showing as root password is not set. So we can set the root password now. So press function 2 to customize the. Okay, now press F2 again. So enter the password. Okay, password is set. And management network and all, we no need to do any changes here. Just escape. And when you see the on-screen instruction, it clearly says that please visit the following URL to continue this appliance. So to configure this appliance. So to configure appliance, you can enter either a complete fully qualified hostname 5480 or you can use the IP address. So let me open the browser. Seems it's rebooting one more time. Okay, yeah, now it's clearly showing the instruction. Following URL. That URL is fully qualified domain name 5480 or you can try with a IP address 5480. So let's open the browser and type the vCenter URL. It's a 10.70 colon 5480, which is the VAMI page. Okay, so now advance, proceed. Now it is going to configure the stage 2. See, it's prompted for the password. Okay, see, we have to choose the configure a new vCenter server. These remaining three options are not relevant at present because this option clearly says for upgrade, and the third option is says Windows to appliance migration. In our previous vCenter 6 series, we have a Windows flavor vCenters. Those vCenters, if you want to migrate it to the appliance based vCenter, we can use the migrate option. And the last option, if you have vCenter server is having any issues or corrupted or something, if you want to restore from the existing backup, you can choose the restore method. Okay, but in our current, we are doing a fresh installation. So our second stage is set up the configuration. Okay, see, stage 1 is showing us green tick mark. That means stage 1 is completed. We are doing a stage 2 configuration. Now click on next. And it is showing all the vCenter server configuration details. Okay, and SSH, if you want to enable here, you can enable. Okay, even time synchronization, you can use the option synchronize time with the ESXi host. Okay, so these all okay. Now click on next. And again asking for the password. Okay, ESXi host password. Sorry, vCenter password. Okay, now it is a single sign-on configuration. We have to enter the password here. So default login credential is administrator@vsphere.local and enter the password. I'm just using the default one. Okay, and if you have any existing vCenter server, we can use join an existing SSO domain. This option is for a normally we can use for a vCenter linked mode scenarios, but a current scenario we already have fresh installation, so I'm going with a create new SSO domain. If you have any existing SSO domain or external PSC systems, that time you can use the second option. Click on next, and here is a customer experience improvement program. It's a no need, just uncheck, or it's up to you. I'm just unchecking this option and ready to complete. This is a complete summary of the information, all the vCenter server, network details, time synchronization, SSH, SSO details. Now click on finish. So you will not able to pause the stop and stop the install from completing once it is started. Okay, click OK to continue or cancel, but we are okay to continue. So once it reaches the 100%, our vCenter server installation is completed successfully. So again, just monitor for a while to complete the stage 2 process. And on screen, it's providing all the stages information. Current status is 4%. And it will complete within few minutes. And once it is completed, to verify the vCenter server health status, again we have to log into the vCenter server VAMI page. And remember, VAMI page means it's a vCenter server host name or IP address colon 5480 port. That is the default port for the VAMI page. So it is at the 22% now. Okay, all the vCenter server services are starting at this stage. If you notice, VMware Service Control Agent is starting now. Normally, whenever we install the ESX server, ESXi host have a default ESXi host agent service. That agent service name is hostd. That means host daemon service. Similarly, in our vCenter server also, when we install vCenter server, vCenter also have a default vCenter service and as well as agent service, VPXA and VPXT. VPX means daemon service and A means it's a agent service. And when we add the ESXi host to vCenter, agent service will start automatically on every associated ESXi host. See now other services are starting in progress and percentage is 34%. So we may need to wait for a while to finish all. And we can take a short break also here. Sometimes it may finish less than 30 minutes. Sometimes it may take some more time. It depends on our configuration, deployment size, and network speed. Okay, 44%. We'll just quickly see the vCenter console screen status. VC01. Okay, console is showing as normal. Seems that all the backend it is running. Okay, we almost reached the 55%. Yeah, seems it's going fast. 61%. Okay, now VMware vSphere client service is starting. Earlier, when we connecting a single ESXi host, that host page we call it as a vSphere host client. Even if you see in the bottom, it is showing us open the VMware host client documentation. That means this page is considered as a vSphere host client or VMware host client. But if you want to connect a vCenter server, we are using the interface name called vSphere client. Using vSphere client, we can connect to the vCenter server. Once we connect to vCenter server, we have a options to create a data center, add the clusters and add the ESXi host to the cluster. Okay, and the cluster portion and all I will show you in the another byte. Okay, now this session mainly focusing on the installation stage. Let me open the vCenter browser. Yeah, 61%. Maybe it may take some more time to finish. I'm just connecting the ESXi host in the meantime. Suppose when we see the licensing, today only we install, right? So we have a 60 days grace period. Default evaluation is 60 days. And even the other ESX also same. Even vCenter also default evaluation period is 60 days. Yeah. I'm checking the ESX3 license status also. Okay, here manage licensing. Okay, this one also 60 days. Okay. In the meantime, let me show you the all the virtual machine folders. See, when we go to the documents, we created all the workstation VMs. By default location is C drive. It's in the documents location, virtual machine folder. See, we have all the VMs directories. First, initially today we started with the first byte with AD, and then ESX1, 2, and ESX3 installation. I explain you how to install the ESX server and configuration. Now vCenter server. And if we see the any of the folder, the default common files are VMX file, VMDK, and VRAM, and log file. These four are the main important files. And same way, even if you see the ESXi home, ESXi 01 virtual machine also, VMX file, VMDK, and VRAM, and log file. Okay, so same for ESX2 and ESX3. And even when we deploy vCenter server also, it will prepare like a same only. But vCenter server, it has so many disk files. You can see the observe the icon as a disk icon. And the VMX, VMware log, NVRAM, and VMX files are common. Okay, the remaining all are the log files only because currently some configuration is in progress. So until 61%, it's going on expected speed, but now slightly taking the longer time. Okay, we can just monitor the screen now. See, the connection is now. Click on continue and proceed. We can enter the password. Seems the vCenter second stage also completed. So to log into the vCenter server VAMI page 5480, the default login is root, and enter the password, and we can see the vCenter complete health status. So password, let me re-enter. Okay. Now vCenter server management, when you see the health status page, overall health status is good and CPU status good and memory status is good, database storage swap, all the status is good. And also you can see the host name and the version is 7.0, U3 update 3, build number, and uptime is 23 minutes. And the monitor stage, here you can see all the complete CPU, memory, disk status, network, and database status. Under the access, you can provide the access to SSH session, direct console user interface, console CLI, bash shell, and all. We can provide the access here. And networking, whatever the networking we configure during the installation, all the information you can find here. And the firewall information, there will be a currently no firewall. Even if you want to add any firewall rules, we can add it. Same like Windows firewall rules. And the time, we can set the time zone, but default it is set to the UTC time. And the service status, we can verify from the VAMI page, all the services, automatic services should be healthy state. And update, this tab is recommended to use when we plan to update the vCenter server. Okay, currently we are using 7.0 update 3C. Recently VMware released update 3D also. So while we are doing the update option, I will show you the using this widget. And administration tab, it's mainly for a password settings. Okay, default password expiry is 90 days. And the syslog server, to maintain your overall archival.logs data, we can use syslog. And to take the backup of vCenter, we can configure the backup information here. We can use any of the SFTP backup, or you can use any of the external third-party tools like Commvault, Cohesity, Rubrik, and we have so many plenty of backup tools. Whatever the environment or your customer is using the backup, those backup configurations you can do it here. Okay, now, and schedule also recommend to take a daily backup schedule. Okay, normally daily, like we'll go with a incremental, and weekly is a full backup. Whatever the your company standard backup policy, you can follow the same for vCenter server also. Okay, this is about the VAMI page. And to log into the vCenter server page, directly you can type HTTPS and our vCenter server IP address 770, and port number is no need, just type the IP. See, if you want to log into vCenter server, we are using a vSphere client HTML5. Using vSphere client, we are connecting to the vCenter server. So click on vSphere client. Now for vCenter server, using vSphere client login, the default administrator is administrator@vsphere.local. We are going to give the same ID and password. Whatever we given during the SSO credential, the same ID and password we can enter here. Let me refresh again. We'll see from the console what is the status of vCenter. Yeah, it seems it's in the healthy state. Let me try from other browser, other tab, 70. Yeah, vSphere client. Maybe service starting, it's taking some time. Health status overall good. Maybe we may need to wait for a while to get the vCenter login page. VAMI page is logged successfully. Okay, if it is still taking longer time, what we can do is open a SSH session and we can check the service status. Click on accept and SSH session login is root and password. And to log into the shell prompt, the command is shell. Okay, so service -control -status. Okay, seems few all services started, but there are few services still going to start. Okay, maybe we may need to wait for a while to load the vCenter page. Or else we can give one more reboot. Actions reboot. We'll reboot once and we'll try. So once we restarted, we can monitor the screen from workstation. So vCenter slightly taking a longer time. It's fine. But installation completed successfully. Once all the services are up, we can successfully log into the vCenter using vSphere client. Okay, with interest of our time, the configuration part, creating data center, creating the cluster and all, I will show you in the another session. Okay, hope you all understand how to install the vCenter server, stage 1, deploy OVF, and stage 2, configuration part. Okay, that's it for this session. Thank you. And please do view, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Okay, bye for now.